All right, we're live, and I'm just getting myself organized here with some other audio settings. So let's click over to this. There we go. What I'm doing today is spending time, because I finished work early. I've got the rest of the afternoon. It is now in Sydney time 12:15 in the afternoon. I started work in Signub today at 5 o'clock. Just going to monitor the sound quickly. 5 a.m. that is, and finished work at 9 a.m. It was a 4-hour shift only, so I had 4 hours at work, and now the rest of the day is mine. I got back home after giving my daughter some much needed blackberries, I think she wanted me to get. She's not feeling well, so I bought her blackberries to hopefully give her some relief from her cold sooner than later, because it's full of vitamin C. Vitamin C is apparently very good for fighting colds. And so with that, I was able to get her some medicine to get better. Or not medicine, but, fresh fruit and things like that. I'm just setting up the amp as well, because I want to practice the guitar. So hopefully we can see what's going on over here with the camera as well. How do I situate that so you can see what I'm doing? Maybe on the chair. It's a little bit hairy to do that, but there you go. That'll do. I can wheel you around. What does it look like though? Do we get a good view? Let me check quickly oh, that's the view that I was after. That's interesting. Cool. So that means, yeah, you'll see me over here doing this. Let's have a look. So maybe like that. It's a pretty wide angle lens, this one too, so it should capture most of what we're needing to do. And is it manual focus or? I got it on autofocus. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do over here, I want to get the power on. Where's our power gone? God, I've got the aircon. Oh, I thought I had the aircon going, but I do not. It's freezing in here. I'll turn that on. So let's get power to that. Where is that? Huh, looks like we should have power going to everything. Which is great, mate. So that's all waking up. Now, how much power do we have in that thing? 100%, nice. That's good, that's done as well then. Which one's that? USB 3 and 5. That's 5 over there, that's 3 over there. So yeah, I want to write a song today. I've got an idea, but man, I just don't know whether I'm going to be able to get the song going the way that I want it to. So we'll see. We will see. 3 and 5. I'm going to up that to 20 dB. On both channel 3 and 5 on the porta capture. Now I just need to get level set over there, that's fine. We'll get this one. That's plugged into that. I've got to remember how I set this up now. So that's going to go via tremolo. Oh yeah, and that's an input. So that's right, I've got two ways of getting noise controlled here, because I want all of this to be working as well. Now, I'm pretty sure we've got everything going there. Let's just have a listen. I've got to turn the amp on. Amp is on. Yeah, can you hear the background noise? That's how I know it's working, because I've got to turn that down, which is terrible, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Okay. Oh, now we might have, actually no, we won't have any background noise going. I'm going to have to turn all the microphones down. If I do that, does that upset the audio? I'm relying on the audio to tell the Rodecaster video which camera to use. That's why I'm hesitant to turn the volume off. But if I don't, let me hear I've got to hear what's going on the live mix before I get started, because I don't want to have an annoying audio thinking that everything's working properly when it's not. So let's go over here. And yeah, I can hear something not quite right. I bet it gets worse when I turn this up. Actually, no, it doesn't. You won't be able to hear it at all unless I turn combo 1 and 2 up. Luckily, there's no delay, which is nice. I think that's the one that's making the noise. I can hear it in the background. Yeah, that's the that's the main one, all right. If I turn it up to say, I'm going to have to experiment. I've just got to play with that to see what volume is going to be good enough. If I put both up, kind of balances it. The only problem is, do we get echo? Nope, okay. All right, so it's going to sound a little bit a little bit odd. Hang on, let me go and turn them both down. What happens then? We still get God, there's background noise. I'm sure it's coming from the amp. It's not those. It's not that one. Not that one. Yeah, I'm going to find it hard to isolate where that noise is coming from. I'm sure it's the amp. It's going to be the amp, because I've got effects units. Anyway, I want to be able to hear the guitar. It does sound a little bit too, just adjusting the gain on my microphone. Yeah, I think that's the best I'm going to make it. So we'll stick with that. And let's have a look here. We'll use that one. Oh, yeah, why is that? I took it off auto for some reason. There we go. Okay. I just want to make sure we get the video coming back where we have this. Should be there. What's going on? I hate it. I hate it. There's something wrong with the audio. It only happened when I started turning on the mixers, I think. Yeah, I think we're good. Anyway, there's a little bit of background noise that I can hear, and there's a little bit of a what's the word, like distortion on the audio, but I don't understand where that's coming from. That's weird. That is really weird. Just let me make sure I've got everything that I... Yeah, you can hear that. It's like distortion, but it's not full-on distortion. It's really weird. It's going to have to be a microphone, I'm sure. Although, yeah, because we can't hear that. Man, there's always a bit of fault finding that goes on with this thing. Okay, so we've got microphones in the background, which we may or may not need. There could be a tiny bit of echo as well. Makes it sound fuller. Anyway, because I'm using the Rode, I've got a new set of Rode Wireless Pros, because I'm doing a on-set sound location shoot, and they've got 5 characters, 5 actors at once being recorded. And that means we've got to have 5 microphones, 5 lav microphones for the audio to be recorded properly. So, yeah, I had to buy another set. And the price has gone up a little bit. I'm not sure why it's gone up, but it's gone up a little bit. And so now the Rode Wireless Pro microphones are slightly more expensive than they used to be. Now, what I want to do, I've got to work out how we're actually going to structure this. I've got my pooter here, because what I'll do, I'll use my computer to actually write words and record the idea of the melody and things like that, and the chord structure. So I've got a Windows 11 laptop over here, which I'll use for that. And I don't know if you can actually see me, what I'm up to here very well. So what is the go? Oh yeah, you can see me. In the different views, it'll flip over. So let's get into some songwriting. What I normally do is use anything like Notepad, just the basic apps, which is just a text editor basically, and use that to capture the basic details of a song. So let's have a look here. Squirrel log setup, new. File new. New. Why did it do that? I thought it would say new document. Save as. Let's put it in working life. New folder. Where's that new folder? Music. I'll call it the music guy. The music guy folder, because James is stealing my ideas all the time. And so if I can think of all of the guy type things that I want to own, then he can't have it, because I'll have it. I figured out what that alarm is finally. That's just basically a schedule which I've got going on that little pixel panel over here, which reminds me I want to make that on live on air rather. Let's fix that up. Oh, I can show you what I'm doing with that too, by the way. See, if I go 4 and then change that to 3, you'll be able to see what I see on the screen. Ha, in theory. There it goes, see? And if I go IDM and then choose Come on, wake up. The preset, and then live, and then we go back again. Look what I've got in the background. Live. See, we're on air. Live, on air. Done. All right, so I'm going to call this. I got an idea for like one chord progression. I'm going to do 2 songs today. So let's get. Hang on a sec. I'm doing the wrong thing with the number 4 over there. I just noticed. Should be on there. That's better. So let's get 2 songs going. This one we'll call Senorita. So this will be Senorita. Okay, and then I'll show you the chord progression that I want to use. First of all, we're going to tune the guitar, make sure we got it all in tune. I'm going to use the Aria ES335 initially, but then we'll change over to the Squire Strat. And to make this work properly, we can do it either way. I'll put it into the PV micro bass amp, which goes through the sound system. I need to just move this over a bit so we get a better view. I think from that angle. Yeah, see, that's a bit better. Although you can't see down below there. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's get that plugged in here, and we shall make some noise. This is going to go to an input, and then that'll go into the guitar. And I've got to be able to hear it as well as you, so I've got to put headphones on so I can hear it through the setup that I've got going here. I forgot to tune it. Dang it. That's the thing. One thing I learned, I was playing when I was playing music in churches, and it's all live, like it's like a proper gig looking back on it, but I never treated it that way. It was more like doing things that I just loved doing, playing guitar, singing even a little bit. And I realised that half the time everyone was out of tune with each other. So I used to badger everyone and say, come on, let's tune up. And so we'd get everyone tuned up so it would kind of sound okay. And we got to the point in one of our sessions, there was a few of us who were treating it seriously and were reasonably good musicians, to the point where a band leader, like a proper musician, he listened to us practice one afternoon and gave us a clap, and it's like it was a clap of approval in the way that it sounded and what we were playing. So yeah, it felt like, I remember that, feeling proud of that, thinking to myself, wow, we've made it. This guy, like, he was someone who was a professional music teacher in a school. So, you know, and he played in a band, like I said, so not someone who was just stuffing around. He was serious. All right, why isn't that working? We've got volume. I've got everything plugged in. That's volume. Oh, it's coming in through that. That's going all through there. I'm getting a signal. It's going through the chain. And then over there. Oh, I don't know why, because we've got this turned down. There we go. You hear? Love the sound of this guitar. The only thing is, what we'll do is we'll go through and just set up the sound that I want to hear. bridge, I think. Yep. So what I have read is we should have the amp up pretty high, but the problem is I can't get the amp up really high unless I don't use the looper, because the mix of the looper and the guitar needs to be done with the volume on the amp to set the overall volume of both guitar and looper, and if the looper is set too high, then it just drowns out the guitar, and vice versa. So I've got to get them both anyway sorted out. That'll do. And then if we go to the, I think this is now the bridge. That's the bridge volume. What I'm doing is getting the sound of the bridge and the neck pickup. And can you hear that? I'm changing the tone and I can hear that it's rattling or rasping a bit. And then clean that up. And then the tone that I like on both should then be able to be put in the middle for both Nick and Nick. If I put the pickup selector in the middle, it'll pick up both the bridge and the neck and then give us a nice tone, which I think is where I started from anyway. That could go a little higher. It takes me a while to get warmed up. What I'm trying to do here as well is I'm trying to teach myself how to use my thumb on the bass strings, like that. Let's see if I can get myself situated where you can kind of see me in the corner, because there's a bit of overlap on the cameras. So yeah, if I use, and I'm trying to also do downbeat and upbeat on the bass with my thumb and make it sound the same as well. And then I picked up from Dave Simpson this idea of controlling the volume with your thumb. So you can play it heavy, but if you do it softly, there's more control in that and you get more dynamics. So I'm trying to learn how to control my thumb so that I get the same volume. And the same thing with the, well, a similar thing with the treble strings. So the E, A and D, I'm trying to play only with my thumb. And then the G, B, E strings to play with 3 fingers on my right hand, except the pinky. I'm not going to use my pinky to play. I'm going to use my pinky to hold my hand in position, much like Mark Knopfler does. He's actually got a playing style where he anchors, if you watch him carefully, his right hand often is anchored with the pinky, and sometimes he uses it to control the volume knob. You can do it on the Stratocaster more easily on the 335, but he uses his pinky to do that swell, which is like, you might do like that. And I've seen Dave Simpson do the same thing. Dave Simpson is a British guitarist who I'm very, very impressed by. So yeah, I'm trying to do the thumb and then fingers. And I can't do it properly yet. See? I want to be able to get the same tone, see that you can tell when I'm going up string on the upbeat because it sounds different from the down. This is down, this is up. See the difference? Which is good and bad. It means I can get different sounds, but I'd like to be controlling that sound a lot better. And I'm pretty good, so you can't tell the difference too much with the fingers. So I'm getting there with the fingers, but the thumb, as I get more warmed up, it gets easier. But if I'm strumming, like, I use the fingernail on my index finger often. But again, I'd like to try and do that with the thumb more and more. The other thing is to dampen the strings that you're not playing. So with the hook over approach, playing a chord, the thumb on the low E, I'm still learning that one as well, and then using just 3 fingers to hold the chord shape down, it's challenging. You can see that doesn't sound good, so more practice, because this is what a bar chord sounds like. Then a hook over kind of gets, yeah, you can understand what it is, but that doesn't sound musically pleasing still. So that's the E shaped, and the A shape is down there using hook over. And with that one, I'm dampening the 6th string with my thumb, because you're not supposed to play that 6th string on the A formation. It's supposed to be 5. Practice. All right, so Senorita is based on this kind of progression. So that's just D, G, and A over and over again. And then to break it up is not much of a change. It's still D, G, and A, but it's played in the bar chords like this. So that's the idea, the basic idea around it. And the singing is the actual words to it, again, really, really simple. So what I'm going to do is basically just sing Senorita at the appropriate point. Now the idea behind this is, you know that song Tequila? And then they go tequila. Dun, 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 dun. It's a very simple song, but so if Tequila can be a smash hit, I don't know after a smash hit, but I think I can make this Senorita kind of sound, you know, similar kind of fashion. That's where the inspirations come from that song Tequila. And man, I wish I could play that better. It's not too bad, but see what's happening is I'm hitting by accident the A string, and I can't get my thumb over hard enough to dampen the A string. I just want to get those 4 strings down there, not the 5th. Unless I bar it that way, but then see, that's really awkward. Just, I can't play it smoothly. But it sounds a bit better. So I think you've got to work out where to put your fingers and dampen strings that works for you. Anyway. So you can hear a few mistakes in there. I can certainly hear a lot of mistakes. But that's the basis of it. And then I would love to get some kind of lead thing worked out on top of that, which I'll worry about at another stage. That'll come later. So what I'll do, I may just jump on the putter over there so you can see what I'm typing. Oh, the other thing is, there's another YouTube channel which I was listening to, a guitarist is talking about how there's this pentatonic scale, so you might use this one. That's the shape 5 pentatonic scale. It sounds really boring when you just play it like this. And the guy that I'm listening to was saying basically blues players, they get their unique style from bending. They don't just play straight notes. Whoop, we've lost the audio. What's happening there? Oh, my mixer turns itself off to save power for some reason. I don't know why it does that. Let me change the setting on that. I hear that. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's back. I'll do it later. So you have to bend the strings into the notes. See how that sounds just so much more interesting? Using the same shape, but adding more notes. That adding that note in there. So you can add notes in as well as play the basic scale. Just sounds so much better. And so with that song, add the kind of bits of lead, which is the style of guitar playing, which I love. I don't like shredding. I don't like just lead, although it's a blues lead I don't mind. But when you mix up a rhythm and play well, which I keep getting there, it just sounds really interesting. Then I can overdo it and play the same thing repetitively. What's interesting about this is it's playing the exact same chords, but they're played in a different formation, if you like. So you've got D, open D, and instead of playing a bar chord G or thumb over, which I can't play properly yet anyway, yet is the operative word. Yeah, it just sounds bad. Got to work out. They're saying basically with the hook over, you don't hold it close up to your head, you put it down your feet, so then you can get the right angle, but like I said, still getting to grips with that. But the chords are the same chords, the names, but the pattern is different. So the open G is what you start with, and instead of playing the whole chord of G, you just play the bottom 4 strings, and I'm leaving the E string open across G and D. See? Same note. It just adds the hook between the G and the A nicely. And then in the chorus bit, it's D again, but a bar chord D, because you can do this. Bar chord G and a bar chord A. So they're the same notes, but it's just, you get a different sound when you're playing this different finger pattern on the fretboard. So that's where the variety comes in. So you hear that and you hear this. It's fuller. And then when you throw in upbeat, woo, just love that. And there's something about that, all of the strings hitting the at the same time there with the bar chord. It's just the ringing, woo, I love that. It's a different ring for the I'm going to call it a verse, but it's not really a verse. It's musically a verse and chorus, but lyrically there's no words. It's basically repeating Senorita all the time. Senorita. All right, so you got the basic idea of that. So what we're going to do now is what? Unplug this. Sorry about the noise. And then I want to grab the other guitar. Oh, forgot about the headphones. God, I think I'm going to have to get some wireless headphones going. This is going to be painful. So I'm going to grab the other guitar, tune that up, because you've got to have it in tune, man. If it's not in tune, it don't sound good. Let's get this, I guess you can tell I like red guitars. You know what, it's getting warm in here, I'm going to turn that off. Now, with this one, I did some work on this one and the 335. To try and get rid of the scratchiness on the volume pots and the tone pots. And I had it, I thought, fixed, but it's come back. So obviously I didn't do a good enough job. So I'm going to have to take this apart again and fix it. It's not really bad, it's just that I'm super fussy, so I can hear it enough for it to annoy me. But, you know, I don't, what can I say? I'm fussy. This one? This is a Floyd Rose tremolo system. What I'm doing is flattening the strings and then just letting it whip back again. And it stays pretty much in tune, this one. The only problem I've got here at the moment is my E, my low E, is really quite sharp, and it's a pain in the neck to loosen that, or tighten that string. Tighten it? No, it's sharp. Got to loosen it. And the fine-tuning screw here is, can you see it? You can't see it. The fine-tuning screw here is completely unwound, so I can't flatten it anymore. I'm waiting for it to kind of, unless I stretch it. I'm waiting for it to kind of go out of tune, and then I can, there you go, that's kind of made it where it should be. That's good. These ones are also kind of sharp. Just the old G string. It's kind of unfortunate that we've got G strings associated with other industries, shall we say, apart from music. You can make lots of jokes about it, but very inappropriate. And I feel like the channel is already kind of on the edge of being inappropriate, especially with James coming along and having his say. I'm going to jump onto the computer now, so we'll get a screen going over there, and you can see what I'm going to write out. It's really quite basic, but I want to just give you an idea of how basic you can be with starting out writing music and tunes. So what I'll do, I do believe that this channel, no, that one, yeah, that view there is probably going to be the best one. What we'll do here is bring up Notepad like that. It's a very wide angle, by the way. It's probably okay, because I want to show you the guitar. I'll do it anyway. So in here, I'll do the same thing. The only thing is, I've got this going. I think I'm actually using the cloud drive from Guy Group. See, I've got the video guy, the computer guy, business docs, the drone guy. Now we're going to make a new one, the music guy. So, what the freak happened there? No! I don't want that there. The audio note. No, that's a good idea, but see, with this you can actually record the music and the words together. Oh, that's interesting, see? Do I do that here? Yeah, I think I will, you know. I think I will. Audio note, isn't there? Huh, that's interesting. I thought I had a notepad, no, it shows that instead. We're going to save this in that place I was trying to save into. I want to see that, the new folder, the music guy, so James can't steal my thunder. Let's make sure we're going to the spot. I'm very paranoid with computers. I've got a Bachelor of Science with a computing major, electronics, well, it's electronics, physics major, and a, what was it? Electronics? Must have been, so there's a major and a minor. And I chose the major to be, I thought it was computing. Was it? So, anyway, doesn't matter. But I think it's computing software, and then the minor was electronics. It might have been the reverse. I can't remember now. So my point is, I should know better about computers and work out ways to make it so they don't misbehave and do random stuff. I was going to say another word, but I've resigned myself to the fact that this is where it gets a little bit off topic. Sorry about this, but I've got to express myself. In the world we live, you've got people that have their own ideas about doing things, and a lot of people hate Apple simply because they tell people the way they want to have things done in their environment, and they don't like it. So they go to other companies where they don't have such a restricted, kind of locked down operating system in particular. So Apple with Mac OS, iOS, any other iOS or OS that they have, they always lock it down and say that you have to play by their rules. And if you don't, then they basically don't publish your apps, for example. And so most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, the Apple environment works quite well, but it is heavily restricted. So you can't do half the things that you want to do. And even if you write your own app and you might make your own app, you won't be able to have it published by Apple. You know, they will not support it, basically. And that's provides a little bit of angst for app developers, because they often have to change their code to suit Apple's perceived whims about how they want things done. But it guarantees, or at least it helps the stability of their operating system and the user experience. In the Windows world, that doesn't exist. You can pretty much write whatever you want as long as it kind of works. They have some limitations on what you are allowed and not allowed to do, but it's not as bad as Apple. And I actually used to be a Windows and Unix kind of supporter, but for whatever reason, Unix does handle the exceptions a little bit better than Windows, but Windows would basically crash because people weren't adhering to the standards that Microsoft set. Microsoft being the owners of the Windows operating system. Apple took the other extreme and basically said, no, you're doing everything we tell you to do, and if you don't, then you can just go away. And so they locked down their operating system and what can and can't be done, and because of that, their systems, in my opinion, are more reliable and work better. And that's why I've swapped over to an Apple environment than Mac OS and iOS. It's the only reason, because I'm sick and tired of wasting my days trying to fault find like getting the right driver for the right version of Windows, etc. That doesn't exist in the Mac OS world and the iOS world. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. Simple as that. And in the Windows Unix environment, you can do workarounds to get anything you want to work, and that's fine. But it's such a time suck, and that's what I hate. Like with this stuff, I just want to be able to turn it on and get going, and we're there. And that's what this is. This is really cool. And that reminds me of James yet again, stealing my ideas, like, you know, the Gaia concept. He's actually got himself set up as a guy in another industry, which I don't want to talk about because he doesn't want his other channel to be spoken of, which I'll what's the word? I'll appease him. I will satisfy his wishes to not divulge, but only for now. Only for now. I'm going to hold it over him. So the music guy, and we're going to call this one Senorita. Senorita, I don't know how to spell that, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And then we go there. So now, all it's going to be. So what I do is I write down the chord structure, D, G, A, up the top here, and then below it I put the words. So we're going to do. Can you hear that? Possibly. So it does it kind of twice, doesn't it? D, G, A, D, sorry, D, G, A, G, D, G, A, and it stops on A. So what I do here is I space it out a fair bit, because normally in a proper songwriting session, there are actually words to put to music, which is typically what people love to hear, but occasionally you do come across songs where there's very few words. So D. And you see how that's a little bit quicker. What I do is I shorten it visually so we have that happening. So we've got D. And in that way, in my mind, I'm reading it as, okay, it's slower at the start and then it speeds up a little bit in terms of the changing of the chords in the progression. So that means that I understand it a little bit better musically. And then, because this is a repeating song, all I do is I just grab that and then copy and paste that down below here. And we've got a couple of goes of the structure of the song. That's probably too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 there, and we'll just repeat that. Like that, and then we'll just give that a quick save. The other thing is, I've got myself in the habit of saving manually every few minutes. This is again something which is probably not necessary to talk about right now, but I'm talking about it because hey, I can. When I was at uni studying, I had an Amiga 500 with a faulty power supply, and it would randomly freeze and just stop working. So I lost so many assignments and so many pages of work that I got trained into saving after maybe 20 or 30 seconds or any significant amount of typing, so that I wouldn't have to retype everything again from scratch, which is what I had to do a couple of times. It was so annoying. And so since that time at uni, this is 20 or 30 years ago at least, maybe even more. What, I was in my 20s then, I was 60 now, so 40 years ago. Holy crap. 40 years ago, I taught myself to touch type and save on a regular basis on the computer, and they're things I'm grateful for now, I must admit. So let's start this thing. So I go. So I kind of ASMR that thing at the end here after the A. Over there, so I'm going to have to tab across. This is all I do for writing a song. I can't tab and then use the space bar. And then it's after the A, so then I just go to Senorita. Like that. And it's going to be, again, a repeat of all of that. So I'm just going to put that there, and there, and now it just becomes a... How many times do you want to repeat that? Oh, I am forgetting one thing, which is the chorus. Now, how am I going to remember to do that? So what I can do is do this. Open D. I'm going to go G triad. I'm saying triad when really it's technically, because you see if I show you that a triad is basically three, right? So duo, two, that was the name of James and my band for a little while. Duo, two of us, and then uno, one, or singular. What's another word? Triad. I can't think. Mono maybe. So you got mono, duo, trio, and then hence the word triad comes from that root. So there's three notes for the chords that we're playing, all on the what's that? D, G, and B strings is pretty much where those notes are coming from. So I'm going to put open D because it is actually the full open D, but then it's a G triad and an A triad with a open E. So that'll help distinguish the chords that we're talking about. So G triad, and then A, what is that up there? Triad. See, this is where I should have done it one line first and then copied the whole lot. Silly, because now I'm going to have to redo everything. So we go open. Now D, G, A, G, D, G, A. Yep. So then that's open. Is it open? No, what do they call it? It's like the cowboy chords. I've forgotten the terminology now. They're all, I call them open chords. These open chords where you're not barring. So an A here, A like that is, in my books, open. The bar chord is that. The thumb over is that. Sounded not too bad there. The G open is that. G sounds bad. As opposed to bar, because that finger there is what's barring the fret. Okay, so if I go, I think open's appropriate, and then G triad, and then the A triad. So make sure you are actually watching the screen that I've got. The playback has not caught up, so I can't tell. Anyway, I'm sure there's one way to test this. I've got this monitor, which I can fire up to make sure it shows me what's the preview and what's live, so I might as well use that. Otherwise, it's a waste of time if I'm not using it. Right. Is it on? That's better. All right, so we'll get that going, and then that will show me for sure. So, yeah, we go A triad, and then that means I've got to move the word senorita over more. In fact, because I've used tabs, I can then just put it there. That's unique, and then delete if I don't get rid of the spaces, then I can't do the tab properly. That's weird. Ah, because I've got this window too small. Let's make it like that. So now I should be able to tab rather than space. No. What is going on? Why am I not going to do that? That is odd. Yeah, I can see on the monitor now that you're seeing what I'm seeing. That's stuck on. Is that because I've got something telling it to use? Maybe that's the size of the page. That's annoying. How am I going to get that across? I could try like this. Oop. This is a reason why you probably need dedicated software for writing songs, music, etc. But look at that, if I go using the spacebar, I can go a lot further than I can with the tab. So they're the idiosyncrasies around the Mac OS operating system. I have noticed things like this, which is a bit crazy, but that's one of the things that it does do. It's a little tiny bit, you know, it does its own thing. All right, so that's the open chords. And you can do that probably 4 times, in all honesty, like the intro. So you could probably get rid of, rather than get rid of it, what I'll do, copy that. I'm going to replace all of these with that. We can get rid of that. And instead, this is a sheet thing that I do as well as I go ×2. So that is basically saying in my mind, repeat all of that line twice, because it's going to be an intro. What I'm going to do here is take that down a line or 2, go intro, like that. We're going to save it. I just did Command S to save it. Make sure that actually does work. Command S normally is the one to use. Save Command S, yeah, it is. So to sound like this, you go open, G triad, A triad, G triad, D open, G triad, A, and then repeat it. So you might do that twice as well, and instead of putting it on the line where the music is going, I'm going to put it down where the word is, so you get the idea. You've got to repeat the whole thing twice. Then we can get to, I'm going to call that verse, by the way, even though it's not really a verse. And then I'm going to call this a chorus down here. Chorus, if I can spell like that. Just do a quick save there. So that we can kind of grab that again, and we can edit this, because it's not going to be the same, of course, because now what I want to do is plug in here that it's a bar D, and it's spelled B-A-R-R-E, and then, you know what, I might make that, no, I'll leave it there, because normally we do say bar. I was wondering whether people say G barred or bar G, and it doesn't really matter the order, because we've got bar D, because we've got open D, I think we'll follow the same kind of format and just call it bar G, although we do have triad in here. Not consistent. See, that's the thing I'm talking about, the Windows and the Mac OS thing. What I just did demonstrates what I mean by non-standard stuff. So it becomes confusing, and therefore, you know, you have to think, and there's nothing wrong with thinking, but when you have too many too many holes in a standard and you have to think more, then the standard becomes useless because you basically are not following any standard at all. And that's what I find really annoying in the computer world and also in real general life. And that is why I like doing things on my own and being on my own, because I'm away from people that do things randomly. I like having a system. G. So that's bar. G. Last one. So that's pretty much the structure of the song. So the intro. And then we go bar. So they actually can be reversed because, oh, actually, no, with the intro, with the triads. And then we do Senorita. And then what I do personally with this, because I used to busk this, and yeah, I got some interest from it, which is cool. Whoa, what happened there? Let's undo that. What I want to do is basically grab this verse and chorus, and then copy that down here, paste it. Because what I want to do is change this up a little bit, so make it like one and then three of these. Just the idea here is to try to let the person who's going to be maybe reading this and following it, to try to understand you can be flexible with this. You can interchange the bar and the triads, you know, whenever you feel like, because this is such a repetitive tune. You've got to do something to make it more dynamic. And I'll show you what I mean by that, playing this guitar. So you can do all kinds of weird things with a song like this. It's so repetitive that it's kind of begging you to do things differently. So why is that not working now? I think I've got to add more oomph to the signal. No, something else is wrong. Okay, oh yeah. I should have changed that. The audio interface fell asleep again. Let me just change the setting on that quickly there so it doesn't happen again. Channel settings, power, auto power save, take that off. Done, that should be it. So you can hear this guitar now. There's a few tone controls on this, which I love. So that's just while we get distracted again, let me also press a button on this, because we want to cycle around a little bit while we do this. So that's the basis of that song. We've actually written a song there together, so congratulations, we've written a song. Now for this one, I can use this EXG controller down here where the tone switch is. You hear the difference? Oh, it's subtle, but it's enough for me. I'm going to put that on like the middle, say 5. And I've got the afterburner in here as well. So the volume at the moment on the volume control is 10. I like things loud. And the afterburner, I've activated the afterburner now, but it's not actually boosting anything. Now I'm boosting the signal a bit. Can you hear that? It's crackling, that's too much. That's the EMG kill switch as well. Oh man, this is like my one of my favorite guitars. Well, it is actually my favorite guitar because I can do all this stuff that other guitars can't do. Oh, that kill switch, for example. And then the vibrato bar. It's not a tremolo bar. It's a vibrato. It's increasing and decreasing pitch. That's why it's called vibrato. And there's one more tone control on this one as well, the EMG BTC, bass tone control. But it's a dual stacked potentiometer system. So the top one I think does treble. Whoa! You hear that? That adds way too much treble. Cuts the treble. So cut it. And the bottom one does the bass. I can tell a little bit. It does a very subtle job of that. So I've reduced the treble and the bass, and then with the EXG, I can make it kind of ring or make it squashy, muddy. There's muddy. This is the sparkler. It's kind of giving it more treble. If I put it roughly in the middle, about 5, and then we can play around with that song and just write Senorita. Now the idea here is, because it's so repetitive, you have to play around with it and add flourishes and little bits of lead and little bits of the glisses, like that. So you can, chop and change it a bit. And you've got to change the tempo a bit and the dampening. See, like that? So yeah, this song, I don't know, I love it. I could play that for hours and hours and hours. And if you someone who gets bored easily with the repetitive music, then you'll hate it. You will hate it so much. But when I was busking playing that song, people would be passing by, and it'd be enough of a hook that they would hear the the full kind of melody, and then turn back and drop in some cash. So it actually worked, and I just find this kind of repetitive music very relaxing, and that's why I play guitar, to relax and chill out. So for me, this kind of song and songwriting is really, it really kind of makes me happy. I like it. So there you go, that's one song. Let's check the chats. If you're interested in this kind of format, then I can do more of this, because I just love it, and I love spliffing around. Because with this kind of simplistic song approach, the other thing is the accompanying music or musical items or musical instruments, let's say, you can add to it, become really interesting as well. So a drum beat, any kind of, I love the Hammond VX3 sound. So, and that particular style of song, I think that would work pretty well. So you can add drums, you can add other instruments, because it's kind of like a Latin American feel to it. You can add perhaps those pipes, of hand pipes and things like that in the background as well. So there's a whole lot of musical ideas you can play around with those simple songs to make it something more than what it might start out with, and then expand your musical experience, I guess, with that as well. And then you can also change the rhythm and all kinds of things. So those simple songs, as much as they are simple, they can become something really good. And I just find starting off with a simple idea is often the best way to get something that you really enjoy. So let's just see any chats at all. Oh, here we go. No, there was no chat. There was a chat. We had chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Unable to connect to chat. What? Why does it do that? That's weird. All right, I don't understand that. So we've had a few views, but no one's interacted with chat. Just want to see if I can get the chat going again. Start Q&A. I'm gonna just see. I'm gonna ask a question here to the chat. Would you like to make a second song together? We'll see what happens. And in fact, no, it's saying that the chat's not working. Create a poll. Ask a question. Would you like to write another song together? And then start poll. Let's see if we can get anything happening there. Oh man, that's annoying. Start chat's not working. Community participants types. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why the chat's not working. Oh, there we go. I knew there was some chats there. So James has joined in the chat. Was it 104? That was a while ago now. Sorry, I missed your comments. I'm going to put this in quotation marks because he's being really rude, as usual. How rude. Chrome or YouTube stopped. Stop chat, but looks like it's working again. Apple Rules. I'm gonna make it capital R-U-L-Z to be cool. To be cool, I say. Oh, and by the way, Apple Rules, so suck on that, you big D star hash $% man. All right, we are very immature on this channel. I can tell you right now, very, very immature. I'm going to wait for his response. I really don't know whether I'm going to get that in time, because you know what? I feel like doing another song. Have I got an idea for another song there? Actually, no, I do not. So this is going to be really interesting because I don't know how we're going to do this. I did want to set a challenge for myself to get a chord structure worked out using the musical scale, and then using the 1-4-5 kind of pattern on the chords that you can use to create songs. But my music theory is not developed enough to the point where I'd be able to offer value in that space. I'd want to actually practice it on my own first and see what I can uncover. I might just do a few goes at writing some songs using music theory on my own, and then once I kind of feel confident with that, then come back, even if I'm not 100% confident, even if I just make a go of it. You can try that, because I'm really keen to get going with writing some music and getting better at playing the guitar in particular. Yeah, let's do that. Let me get some time together on my music theory first, and we'll do that. Oh, I've been up since 3:45, and I'm pretty freaking tired, I've got to tell you now. So what I'm going to do, I'll close this down, I'll play around with some more music, and then I'll jump back online. I also have a video idea to have at least three stories going at once across the last year. There's a couple of big events that occurred through the course of last year, and I've got some video of that, and I wanted to put something together which was something I can go back to look at in the future to kind of relive that experience, because it was really good, all those experiences, because they were really good. So I want to put that together in a video which you may or may not enjoy, but it'd be fun for me to do. So I'll probably spend the afternoon doing a bit more music. I want to practice all the triads for all the chords across all of the positions that I can put across the neck of the guitar. It's going to take a couple of hours. Then I can look at my music theory, and then I can start doing a bit of video editing, because I've got the weekend ahead of me now to do that. So I'm excited to do that. It'll be fun. All right, I'm going to do that. So on that note, let's say catch up next time. All right? Sounds good. See you all next time. I can't hear whether this is applause or not. It's probably something else. That might be applause. This one might be a Yahoo. This one might be a nice, or that one might even be nice. I can't remember that one. This one, just press some buttons out to annoy you all. I'm going to go. Have a good one. We'll see you in a bit, and I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed that, so I've now written down that song, and we can play that ad infinitum. Maybe you want to as well. If you want to modify that version, do it and send me a link so I can see if you've made it better or worse. All right. Catch you next time. Bye now.